السلام عليكم. كل سنة وانتم طيبين. سعيد ان انا التقي بيكم والله. اهلا وسهلا. اهلا وسهلا.
Very welcome. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, let me extend to you all peace and greetings.
واشكركم ان انا اتاحت لي الفرصة ان انا اتكلم معاكم النهارده واشوفكم، وخلونا اتكلم على ان احنا يعني محافظة مطروح وما يطلق بالكامل عليها المنطقة الغربية، مش بس مطروح، وحتى يعني اقدر اقول من قبل مطروح بكتير قوي. يعني كانت المنطقة دي ما كانش فيه اهتمام كبير من الدولة خلال السنين اللي فاتت. واتصور ان انتم واخدين بالكم ان احنا يعني مهتمين قوي قوي وشغالين كويس قوي. واقدر اقول المشاريع اللي مستهدفة بيها محافظة مطروح، سواء كان مشاريع زي الموانئ اللي بتتعمل او القطار السريع اللي بيتعمل او المدن اللي بتتعمل، هي في النهاية ممكن يعني احنا كمواطنين وطبيعة المحافظة اللي هي فيها يعني شكل معين بتعيش بيه، هيكون لي تأثير كبير قوي عليكم خلال المرحلة دي، وانتوا حاسين بده. وانا جاي بالطيارة كنت مرة انا بفتتح ميناء جرجوب، فبالطيارة كنت بشوف شكل الدنيا عامل ازاي. بعد 4 سنين تقريبا وانا برضو جيت بطيارة الهليكوبتر مخصوص عشان ادي نفسي فرصة اشوف. لا، في تطور كبير، وده كل ده عبارة عن خطوة خطوة على
construction and developments, and this is a step on the journey we are taking. It's a development that you are doing along with the state. As we mentioned, we're talking about new cities, because some people would ask this rapid train that will come till Gargoub or up to Saloum through Habata. What is the use of this rapid train? Even this outlet that we've just visited, and we have been working on it for 4 years to make the trade movement between us and Libya smooth. And there is another logistic area that would be established beside this port, because these are all opportunities for development, and it would contribute to developing Matrouh Governorate and the whole western part of Egypt. Few days ago we were celebrating, not celebrating rather, but saying that Siwa agricultural waste project was a bit late, but thank God it was finalized. And we saved the oasis, thanks to Allah, from very difficult conditions. And thank God. So long as we are all together, there would be no end or termination of any part in Egypt. Thank you. Long live Egypt with you. Let's get back to Siwa as an oasis that has a great long history, but it had a problem, and the problem was solved. I would like also to tell you, and Haj Bilal is sitting by my side, and he talked to me about this when we were opening Al-Alamein, and he said that Siwa would drown, and we solved this problem through the project. The project took 3 years and a half, but I would like to tell the people of Siwa and Haj Bilal, please protect and preserve what was done. The wells constructed, please protect them. Now we have a water system for all the wells in Oasis, so the community of Oasis and its city council should regulate and organize the use of this well system so that Stiwa Oasis would be even better than it was before. I would like also to say that I was just talking to the Prime Minister and the Governor, telling them that we need to regulate the presence of the tribes according to their traditions, but also in the meantime, we as a state need to be given the opportunity to provide different services, health, education services, through organizing this and the presence of the tribes. Once more, I would like to tell you that what was achieved over the previous years is not much, but it is a step towards the real development of the state. And you need to remember the different ports. Alexandria, for example, a lot of its population depended on Alexandria port, so you can imagine what is the impact of Gargoub port, whose part was inaugurated and the other part is going to be inaugurated soon. So you can expect what would be the effect of Gargoub port on this western part of Egypt. And what about also Ras Al Hikma and El Alamein cities? What would be their impact on the community and the people of Matrouh? There are a lot of industrial zones, schools, universities, hospitals, and a lot of other things that would be done here. And I would like to say that if at a certain moment there was no opportunity for the state to focus more on developing Matrouh and supporting the people of Matrouh, I think that what we are doing right now would give them enough attention and support. We never said that we will do something without attaining it on ground. We always keep our promises and we are moving into this direction. And as I said before, for any project to construct, for example, a road up till Matrouh for the trade and people mobility, we are talking about a very high cost. What is the use of having such a road? Of course, it would be very useful for the inhabitants and the people of Matrouh. Everything that is done here would have its impact on the people in this governorate. I'm so glad to meet you today, and since I am here with you today, I'm of course confident that you need to be reassured about the conditions in Egypt. For 8 years, we've been working everywhere in Egypt, and there is no spot in Egypt that was left behind. We have worked on developing all parts of Egypt, from Aswan up till Alexandria, till our borders with Libya at Isaloum. Work and construction and development is taking place in every spot of Egypt to serve all Egyptians. And while working on that, there was a plan that we were following, and the state has its vision regarding how the Egyptian state would look like up till the year 2030. Beware that we've been through 2 crises, and we were not the reason for these 2 crises. The first is the pandemic, COVID-19, that had its repercussion on the whole world, and also the Russian-Ukrainian war and its impact. We as Egypt did not take the decision to launch a war, and we did not do anything. The state has always been wise. We are in a crisis, it's true, And I'm speaking here frankly, we are going through a crisis, but it was one of a lot of challenges that we faced before, like the challenge of terrorism. Since 2011, 2012, some people used to ask themselves, would this come to an end? Would terrorism come to an end? Would the blood shed of our young people go on? When would it come to an end? And I used to tell you, God willing, with the support of the Egyptians and their efforts, it would come to an end. And thanks God it happened. And also we have also a development project for our people in Sinai, because it's their right. And I'm trying to deliver this message to them here from Matrouh. I would like also to tell you, I'm not talking about this except when we finish it. The new delta, is the new delta in Dab'a far from you? No, it's not that far. Would it create job opportunities? Yes, of course. It can take agricultural products and send them to our brothers in Libya. Yes, of course. So when we come to say that here, at the outskirts of the governorate, we have 2 million Fiddans. And what about Toshka and East Al-Uwaynat? They are not far. And there are other places that I won't mention here after making sure that we provide them with water. We won't announce these things until we're sure that all studies are completed and the state started taking its procedures. Let me get back to the issue of crisis. We as a state over the past 10 years was keen on not taking risks. To avoid harms for Egypt, but these two crises, COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukrainian war, they are out of control, but yet we are impacted by them. What about the difficult economic conditions? Of course, they will come to an end. It's not going to last forever. It's not because I'm here, but it's God's will. The whole world faces challenges with efforts, planning, and will people overcome these challenges? Then they face another challenge, overcome this second challenge as well, and so on. We are always struggling with our difficult conditions, and the economic challenge is a challenge, and we are insisting on overcoming it.
لا احنا يعني انا عايزك تقول لي
I wish.
ان شاء الله بس انا عايز اقول لك على حاجه ما تقوليش كمل قول لي هنكمل.
You would tell me we will continue working on that together. Of course, we will continue working with Your Excellency. Thank you. I will get back to the issue of economic crisis because people are always talking about this. And the prices are high, and I recognize that. But we are exerting all our efforts to reduce the impact of this crisis through a number of programs we are implementing, especially for the population who have difficult conditions. Let me tell you again that whenever Egypt faces any crisis, we are confident that through planning, work, and efforts, and before all that, of course, with the support of God, we will be able to overcome it. God is always supporting us because we as officials want the good for Egypt only and for everybody. Thus, we have no other goal. So rest assured that despite these difficult conditions, we will be able to overcome them, as Egypt has been through difficult conditions over the past 10 years, and not just the past 10 years, over all the past years. Maybe the young generations have not lived this, but the older ones recognize all the challenges that Egypt have faced along the past years, and through our will and efforts we were able to overcome it. There was a big challenge in 1967, and in 1973 we were able to overcome this challenge and be victorious. And a lot of other challenges faced Egypt over the previous years and made people ask themselves, would be able to overcome this crisis or not? You need to be confident that we will overcome it. We as Egyptians, and not as officials, would be able to overcome it. Never think that the state on its own or the officials on their own would be able to overcome any challenge. We can overcome the challenge through the understanding of people, through their patience. There was the electricity crisis, not the current one with outages that happen right now. There was a real electricity crisis, and thanks Allah we were able to overcome it. And during the climax of weather and hot temperatures over the previous 2 months, we had to reduce the loads on electricity because of the volume of fuel needed to operate the electricity stations was a burden because of the increasing fuel prices. The electricity
طب انا هقول لك على حاجه منك، انت بتقول لي احنا من اهالي يعني من سيوه يعني.
that you're from Siwa.
احنا بقى كل الحاجات اللي انا شفتها
all the things I saw, the trees, the lands that become barren. I said that I will visit Siwa, and I did not visit it yet. We're looking forward to this visit. Let me ask you for something. We did what you asked for. So, I will give you 6 months. 6 months. And during these 6 months, you need to reclaim all the lands and replant all the trees and palm trees. You're from Siwa, yes. Haj Bilal is from Siwa and he has a lot of money. Mr. President, we do not have a lot of money yet. We have our minds and hearts. You saved Egypt.
60 سنة وشهر.
I am 60 years old.
60 سنة وشهر. أنا بنقول لك أنت أنقذت
And I would like to tell you that you
طب ما احنا
saved
نقول
Egypt.
ربنا انقذ مصر والحمد
Let's say
لله.
that it's Allah who saved
كده
Egypt.
يعني. طب انا هقول على حاجه لان احنا
I will say one point.
حاج عبد الرحمن.
Haj Abdurrahman, do you have any other things to say? No, thank you. Okay, then I will visit Siwa, but you will work and you will be supported by the state, and Haj Bilal and others will help you. The verse from the Holy Quran says that he who revives it as if he has revived all souls. So we're not doing just for Siwa, but we're doing it from Egypt. We need to provide water to all parts of Matrouh governorate. There is a plan that was developed for the provision of water to coastal areas. You might ask me, what about other areas? If other areas have wells, then we can renovate these wells or construct new wells if needed. But the program introduced by the state with the station for 150 as well as for the construction of other water stations to provide water to coastal cities. There is no problem of drinking water in Matrouh because we have enough water plants in Matrouh. I was just talking to Matrouh's governor and I told him that we cannot provide service to the people. Yet part of this matter is that Matrouh is not formed of blocks close to each other. I can implement a project in Siwa because it is a full integrated community. I can do this in Al-Saloum, in Al-Matrouh. But for the small satellite villages, it would be so difficult. If there are wells and there is underground water, we can help them. But if there is nothing, I won't be able to do it. For the water desalination stations, they are constructed on the coasts, and it is difficult for me to distribute water everywhere because the biggest two governorates in Egypt are the New Valley and Matrouh governorates. And I'm here being honest. We cannot have stable water supply unless we have appropriate residential areas. For example, we'd have a district with 10,000 residents, then we'd be able to do this and construct a well, even if it is a well with a great depth, we can do it. I would like also to say again that 7 years ago there was a problem of water in Matrouh, if you remember. There was a problem in Matrouh, and we constructed a water plant to provide Matrouh with drinking water. So the state program is not just for the Mediterranean Sea or the coastal cities on the Mediterranean Sea, but also the coastal cities on the Red Sea. The program is a program to construct water desalination stations so that they can provide water to people in these cities. I would like also to tell you that there are a lot of demands and requests because we are already late. And when I say that we are working on the whole state, I wanted to say that we need to do a lot. We just need to construct farms, schools, trains, stations, buildings, because we're talking about 105 million Egyptians. And if we do not work everywhere, and when he said that we were working during COVID-19, yes, we were working during COVID-19 and we are still working up till now, and we'll keep working. And the economic challenge, you, the government and the state, would be able to overcome this economic crisis and make it part of history, like terrorism and other things. This difficult economic condition would be also a part of history. Your Excellency, the President, I'm Gabriel Haddad from Dab'a City. First of all, I would like to convey to you the greetings and the congratulations of all people of Dab'a and Matrouh City. We in Matrouh City has seen on the ground development rates that are unprecedented, like new El-Alamein city, the expansion of the international road from El-Alamein till Matrouh is something that we are all proud of. Jibril, this road will reach Saloum. This road will reach Saloum, God willing. I'm talking about the plan. I would like to tell you that it won't just reach Matrouh, but it would be implemented in different phases. First, we covered the area from Alexandria till El-Alamein, and then from El-Alamein till Dab'a, and then from Dab'a till Matrouh, and then from Matrouh till Gargoub, and then from Gargoub till Saloum. In Dab'a city now we have developments. First, there is El-Alamein port, and we are so proud of. And we have seen when you were receiving the leaders. We were so proud of that, and this place used to be a desert and massively developed. And also the nuclear station in Dab'a developed trade in Dab'a. We have also seen great urbanization in Matrouh. I have just one proposal to make. After the master plan was developed for urbanizing the whole coast, and the Prime Minister is an expert in this field, some of the residential areas and the villages has become part of this master plan, and we support that. We have no objections and we are ready to do everything. I would just like to make one remark that for the compensations paid for the nuclear station, the decision was made in 1981 and the compensation was paid in 1999, and when we decided to recompensate us, people were able to get the real market price for this. When we got into the master plans of urbanizing this area, we are ready to support and give you the plots of land, but I have just here a proposal. In these areas, there used to be farmers, and there was also range lands, and people who live on pasture. So if you would plan the area from Sidi Abdurrahman till Dab'a to allocate an area for those farmers to receive plots of lands in these areas, and we will form then residential areas and residential blocks that we can provide with services. So this area from Sidi Abdurrahman till Dab'a can be allocated for the farmers and range lands and pastures. So if we can do this, we would be very thankful, and by doing so we will facilitate the mission of the state in implementing projects, and secondly, the citizen would go to an agricultural land where he can go on and plant his crops, and also I'm going to sell these lands to the citizens, so this would be a national income for the state in addition to increasing the agricultural lands in Egypt. If we can do this, we would be very thankful. Thank you, Jibril. Would you please sit down? First of all, we had a principle that no one would be harmed from any measure made by the state. This is our general rule, because by the end of the day, you are the son of Egypt. So we always used to say that if any measure is going to be made and would harm any group, then people should be recompensated, and they would be compensated for the house, the land, and the plants. You're talking about development, and you said that when Dab'a station was made, then things became better, and when tourism was introduced, things became even better. So here we're not talking about just a compensation. This compensation is just part of the matter, but you have another form of livelihood. You have witnessed the impact of Al-Alamein and the Dab'a after a number of years. And the Dab'a is not finished yet, so let's imagine when it is fully completed and we open its first part. There are people who work there, and there is a school constructed now. So every project would have an impact on people here, and this port we are talking about will develop the surrounding area because there will be green hydrogen projects, ports. So everything that is done will have a positive impact on the people. Maybe it is slow. When you come to ask me when would feel the influence of the rapid train, this checkpoint and this port and outlet that we have inaugurated today have been under construction for 5 years to make Egypt's capability stronger. The logistical hub that I'm talking about would create a lot of job opportunities. I will never forget the sellers and the traders of Barrani, Matrouh, and El-Hammam, and a very big market. I told you that I have lived here for years, and what we are doing right now is something totally different now. This area can develop further with the projects in it. Why would it be slow? Because it takes time. I will get back to your proposal. I would like to tell you that this matter of water is so important. I always say the truth to you. If I have the opportunity to make the lake 2 lakes and 3 lakes rather, and bring water from East Egypt till everywhere, nothing would stop me from doing so. You will see in very few months the inauguration of the new delta. And it would be accessible to all Egyptians. We did the biggest effort and the land would be available. We're talking about 2 million fiddans. And now there are 700,000 fiddans that I did not announce. Why? Because we are constructing a road of 200 kilometers to take us there, and then we will check whether there is sufficient water to plant these lands or not, and if the water is available, what are we going to do? We are going then to plant it. To take water till Sidi Abdul Rahman or Daba can be done so long as I have the opportunity. But if there is no water in El-Hammam Lake, then the volume of water available is equivalent to the agricultural lands I have till El-Hammam only, or till El-Alamein, or till El-Daba or Matrouh. You need to be sure of that. If you are following up what is done in New Delta, we have 80 kilometers of lakes to take a lot of water sufficient for planting 1 million fiddans. So I have no problem if water is available. When I talked about Siwa, Siwa has a good opportunity. Why? Because it has underground water with one condition, that we organize scientifically the use of this underground water, because what happened over the previous 35 years in Siwa was that each citizen has a plot of land, and he took from the surface water, he drew the surface water. That's why the water salinity increased, and that's why the plots of lands became barren and the olive trees were lost. To solve this problem, we had to pay 2.7 billion US dollars. And it was said 20 or 25 years ago when this was discussed, are we going to spend billions for 4,000 families? They said, let's take these people from Siwa to the Delta or somewhere else to save this amount, but we did not do that. So the main principle is that we do not want to deprive you of your right. Secondly, we are looking for your interest and our interest because both interests are interlinked. Why am I saying that? Because some people might say, you took our land and gave us money in return, but we did not want to leave this land. You should never think that we are doing this compensation and we are not taking your land except for an interest, the interest of the whole state. Maybe in Gargoub port, when we were constructing it, we had some small residential areas, so we compensated the people there. Because we are reconstructing a port that is not going to serve this surrounding residential area only, but the whole governorate of Matrouh, the whole western part of Egypt. And the same applies to the rapid train. The rapid train will cost billions of dollars. We are doing it to take Jibril and all the others to and from Matrouh. Construction, urbanization, and development does not happen overnight. Some people might ask when we are going to see the difference. Development takes years, but it's a matter of moving forward. So long as we are moving forward, we would be able to achieve this. And what is done in Egypt in light of the difficult economic conditions is a gift from God. And the issue of water is so sensitive because we do not have enough water. If you will find wells, we are ready to construct these wells to provide you with the water. In the name of Allah, peace and blessing be upon Prophet Muhammad, his family and his companions. Mr. President, we would like to welcome you. I'm Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah Al-Habbouni, the Sheikh of Habboun tribe, and we are honored to receive you today. And we want to tell Your Excellency that we need your assistance in facilitating the government procedures for the citizens in Matrouh Governorate, especially that the procedures take a long time, especially regarding the property of desert lands. And once more, we would like to welcome Your Excellency, and may God bless you and bless Egypt. Long live Egypt. Mr. President, in the name of Allah, peace and blessing be upon Prophet Muhammad Mahdi al-Umda. from El-Saloum city. In the name of the people of the western part of Egypt, we would like to welcome Your Excellency and thank you for honoring us with this historical visit that would support development in all fields, not just in Matrouh, but nationwide. We would like also to thank Your Excellency for the national projects implemented in record time in Egypt, starting with El-Saloum, Gargoub port, the nuclear station for peaceful purposes in Dab'a, New Alamein city, the new administrative capital, the electric train from Ain al-Sukhna to El Alamein, then El Matrouh. All these projects were implemented in record time. Since we're talking about this big stride in the field of transport and roads in Egypt, we wish that El-Saloum Matrouh International Road would be renovated because it is an international road that connects all countries to each other, and up till now it is not developed. The construction is so slow. We want it to be similar to the other corridors constructed in other governorates, and we support Your Excellency, and may God help you. Thank you very much. I would like to tell you that I said in the beginning, we're talking about from Alexandria till Matrouh, we're talking about 700, 800 kilometers. Were they done 3 or 4 lanes up till Matrouh, it would be 8 lanes every direction. And from Matrouh till the port, this is planned to be constructed. You can imagine what is the cost. It will cost billions. There is a plan for constructing it over the coming few years. And I will tell you something that I've just said to the government. If I want to renovate El-Saloum road, you will have a problem, because there was no urban planning for the buildings. So the road is constructed in the city, very close to the sea. And we have taken this into consideration. This road is an economic must for Egypt. It is not just your request. We need to renovate it because, as you said, Gargoub is a big international sea port. This port needs to be connected to Alexandria to the east and the Saloum to the west. So you will find that we finished Dab'a last year. How long did it take? Record time. And what is done today, and we've reached more than 140 kilometers from Dab'a till Matrouh. And from Matrouh to Saloum, 280 kilometers. So the main road is about to be finished from Dab'a till Matrouh. And what is remaining is just the service lane for the facilities to be finished. And next, it will be from Matrouh till El-Saloum, the 280 kilometers. How many lanes? It would be exactly like the road you saw in Dab'a, in Matrouh, and in Alexandria. This is a plan. It's not a request that we will meet. We have already planned to do it. But while we're working, this
اللي هي من السلوم
distance from Saloum till Matrouh
تكلف اكتر من
will
15
cost more than 15 billion Egyptian pounds. 15 billion Egyptian pounds.
التكلفه زادت.
The cost has increased a lot.
طب احنا مخططين نعمله وان شاء
And
الله
we've planned to do it, and God willing we'll finish Matrouh during this year,
نخش على
and then move on to this part, and may God support you, Mr. President. We are your supporters to continue progress and development in all Egyptian governorates. Thank you, Mr. President.
حاضر.
Peace be upon you. Mayor Bashir Sonagi from Matrouh Governorate. In the name of all people of Matrouh, I'd like to welcome you to Matrouh Governorate. We have witnessed the development taking place everywhere in Egypt. And thank God development started in Matrouh. And for us, we have a lot of graduates, we have craftsmen, we have investors, and we have a request and wish you will approve of it. And this would support development. We want to establish a
قلت لك يوم ما وصلت الأزاء ما حدش يشكك في وطنيتي، فاحنا وطنيين 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 ومصريين، وفي دي أمانة، وكل راعي مسؤول عن رعيته، وانت راعينا وانا راعي اللي ورايا، فانا مهمتي اني نوصل المعلومه لسيادتك، وكل راعي مسؤول عن رعيته، وهذول ابنائك، وسيادتك الحل في يدك، مش في حد يعني.
طب انا بس عشان ما اقولكش حاجه والناس كلها بتسمعنا، ويبقى انا هشوف الموضوع دوت وتاكدوا ان كل خير وكل عمل يقدر يساعد انا هساهم معاكم فيه. هحاول اشوف ده. انا ما اعرفش الموضوع ايه اللي انت بتتكلم عنه بالتفاصيل، هخلي يتعرض عليا، وثق من ان انا هبقى دايما معاكم انتوا ان شاء الله يعني.
ان شاء
فانا
الله.
مش عايز اقول كلمه بس يعني من غير ما اكون شايف الموضوع اللي انت بتتكلم فيه من كل الوجوه يعني.
اللي هو موضوع الامهات.
ايوه، اللي هو ال 150 اللي انت بتقول عليهم.
ال 150 دول تسجيل الكشوف يوميا يمشوا من محافظه مطروح.
لا انت قلت حاجتين، قلت الكشوف ديت وقلت المساجين.
ايوه،
فانا الاثنين هبص عليهم. حاضر.
هو ده المطلوب من سيادتك.
حاضر.
تحيا مصر، تحيا مصر، تحيا مصر بوجودك.
شكرا جزيلا، شكرا جزيلا. حاضر، اتفضل. طب ادوني بس فرصه لو سمحتم. ادونا بس فرصه، اتفضل، عشان بس من الناس الشيوخ اللي موجودين معانا هنا. سينا عايز اقول لك على حاجه. الدوله لما تيجي تعمل لازم تكون متاكد، مثلا زي مطار مينا العريش، هو انا عشان اعمل مينا، طب هنا بصراحه يعني اهالينا في الغربيه في اي موضوع يحسوا ان في مصلحه للدوله الاقي تفهم وتلبيه وترضيه. انا بتكلم كده عشان لان احنا في سينا بنبذل جهد كبير جدا جدا للتنميه برضو. وانا عايز اقول لك على حاجه، هو انا لما اجي اعمل تطهير لكل الاراضي اللي كان فيها الالغام والمتفجرات اللي الاشرار كانوا حاطين فيها، اقدر اعمل تنميه فيها من غير ما نخلص ده؟ انا بتكلم كده كلام. طب احنا شغالين في كل حته في سينا، جنوب وشمال ووسط، انا عارف ده. انا بقولك كده عشان فرصه وانت موجود، الناس في اهالينا في سينا يسمعوا ده. مفيش مصلحه لينا كدوله غير مصلحه الناس. قول بقى اللي انت عايزه. حد يديله ميكروفون لو سمحت.
كامل مطر، رئيس مجلس القبائل والعائلات المصرية. أشرف اليوم بمعية سيادتكم يا فندم، ومعية الشيوخ والعواقل والسادة الوزراء والسيد رئيس الوزراء.
The leaders of the tribes and all participants. I will talk about two things. First, from my viewpoint and from the viewpoint of the sons of Egyptian families and tribes, we call you the revival of Renaissance in modern Egypt. Your Excellency received Egypt and since then up till now you did not save any efforts in developing every spot on the land of Egypt. And what was achieved over the previous 10 years was not made in 30 years. And people of our age know that best. Also, when we come to talk about Sinai, I would like to ask everyone to remember the martyrs from the tribes, the police, and the army. May they all rest in peace. Mr. President, you are challenging difficulties, and we have seen this through all that was done on the ground. Sinai, since 2014 up till 2023, has been suffering from terrorism, and its citizens were suffering from this terrorism. Your Excellency, faced this challenge. You fought terrorism, and in the meantime you developed and constructed Sinai. Mr. President, I'm talking about realities here. These are not compliments, these are realities. In the year 2013, in Sinai, we had roads of 650 kilometers. From 2015 up till 2020, they became 3,000 kilometers of roads. And today, Sinai, and I'm talking to my brothers in Matrouh and in the western area, I would like to tell you that Sinai now, thanks to the President and our great army, became free from terrorism. Mr. President, you challenged difficulties while your army was fighting terrorism. In parallel, you were developing the infrastructure of Sinai Peninsula. A lot of roads were constructed, 3,000 kilometers of roads. Also 5 tunnels were constructed to connect Sinai Peninsula to the canal governorates and other governorates. Also, the development the citizen felt in Sinai was great. 10,000 fiddans were distributed. Every family received 5 fiddans. Also, Mr. President, another thing that we can never deny is that you allocated 2017 Bedouin houses for the sons of the tribes in Sinai. All this in addition to the projects underway now in Sinai, as well as the industrial development and tourism. You provided the infrastructure needed, Mr. President. Construction is always difficult. And we, after exerting all these efforts, start to reap the fruit. You exerted efforts, and I would like to tell Your Excellency now that we, as sons of Egyptian families and tribes, are always supporting Your Excellency. And together we will construct and develop Egypt. We are supporting Egypt's development and construction, and God willing, we would always meet. We, your sons, the Egyptians, who are working for Egypt without any other purpose. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Your Excellency, and we wish that we would meet you again, and we will invite you to visit us, of course. Thank you. I will come.